Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is March 29, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 46 of me going through your comments and answering your immigration related questions. As always, I'm gonna mention before starting this video, I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not the legal advice. All the information provided in this video and on all the other videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course Department of State. So without further ado, let's start with the very first comment from ya boy Martin. You're truly amazing. Nah, not at all, but thank you. Appreciate your kind words. I'm a USA citizen married to my Nepali wife. We got married in Nepal and I have lived here for 3 years. I'm confused on my I-130 after I enter my address in states, which I get mail sent to, I have driver's license, taxes paid, bank accounts, etc. Okay, makes sense. It asks, do you live here? So my question is, will it make problem if I answer no to that question? Am I technically visiting here in Nepal? Please help me clarify this. Thank you. Okay, great question, Martin. So whenever it comes to I-130, one of the main requirements for I-130 for the petitioner is to have the domicile in the United States of America, which means that your main place of that's it, this is your place of residence, is the United States. You cannot, if your main domicile is somewhere else, so let's say if you say, you know what, I'm married to a woman in Nepal and I'm gonna live in Nepal, which I bet is probably a beautiful place there with the mountains and everything, but if you say that on the petition, if you say no to do you live in the United States, then technically you are, you don't meet the eligibility criteria in order to petition for your wife, even though considering that you are a US citizen. So in your case, I would say technically you are just visiting Nepal. It's not your main place of domicile because you are, you still have your main address here in the United States. You have your driver's license, obviously, you have all your bank accounts and everything, you still pay taxes. So your domicile is the United States. So answering that question, you're not gonna be saying no. Yes, it will definitely create a problem. So you will be answering that question, yes. All right, I'm gonna put this right here, answer it, and we're gonna move on to the next question from Emizium Kingsley. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Sorry if I didn't. Thank you, sir. I really want to be pretty sure the estimate of wait time for my interview and also my 2 siblings is as follows. All right, F1 category. We got priority date, December 2014, documentarily qualified 2021, and then it's location Nigeria. Okay, and then F1 category, priority date 2015. So just half a month, half a year after. So we got both F1 categories. So let's open up Visa Bulletin. I have it pulled up in front of me. It's for April 2023, the most recent one that we have. It just came out a few days ago. So we're gonna scroll down. First priority category for everyone who's watching, if you're not familiar, it's unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens over 21. Over 21, it doesn't say it here. Hopefully they will fix it one day, but this is over 21. Otherwise, if it's under 21, then it does not fall for Visa Bulletin in general, because there is no immigrant visa caps on that particular category. So for this one there is, and if we scroll down, we're gonna start with the priority dates first, dates for filing, that would be graph B. So if you take a look, and you said it's Nigeria, so we go into all chargeability area. None of these, all chargeability area here, F1. So we are looking at August 2016. So as of right now, as of April 2023, according to the Department of State Visa Bulletin, they are issuing visas. The visas are becoming available for the backlog of people who are still waiting from August 2016, with the priority dates from August 2016. Now, your priority dates are before that. They are in 2014 and 2015, and you were documentarily qualified in 2021. Well, not you, the beneficiaries in your case. So let's take a look at the documentarily qualified dates, and then here at the documentarily qualified dates we're looking at the December 2014. So there is a huge difference here, because it looks like back then, back in 2014, 2015, 2016, looks like they were some of the applications, they were processed faster at the NVC. So they documentarily qualified applicants even before quite a long time before the immigrant visa was available, which creates a little bit of confusion. So that's why a lot of times when people look at both of these graphs, they're confused. It's like that really makes no sense. But here's the good news. You were documentarily, well, your beneficiary in your question, they were already documentarily qualified in 2021, which means that NVC waited closer to the availability of the immigrant visa, which means that it is, should be, and usually they do like 2-3 years. So the reason why it's good news is because it means that it's since you're already documentarily qualified and it was way after the priority date, it means that it's pretty close, and they know that it's close to the availability of the immigrant visas for your beneficiaries. So I would say you are probably looking at another year, maybe year and a half. It can be faster, it can be a little bit longer, and rough estimates, I wish I could give you a little bit better estimate, but it's very, very rough estimates. It will really depend on if we will see the movement in the next couple months for the visa bulletins. So if you don't mind, I would recommend subscribing to this channel, because I'm gonna do every month. I've done April, I've done March 2023, I've done April 2023 visa bulletins. I want to look at May and June and maybe July. So 3 more months I want to look at the visa bulletins and see if there is finally movement, because we haven't had a movement for a very long time, for about year and a half on most of the categories. And the reason why we didn't have that movement, because there was an additional artificial backlog. So there was already an existing backlog on the immigrant visas, because there is a cap on those visas. And then with the whole pandemic situation, with all the closures, basically they added, Congress, whoever, probably Congress who made the decision to do all these closures, I don't know, whoever, the government in general, with all the closures, and completely stopped processing the immigrant visas, they added this artificial backlog. That is why we did not see any movement on the visa bulletin for a very long time. And now finally we did see one change, which wasn't a good change, it was worse change, but at least it was an update for the F2A. So at least for people who are waiting in F2A category, they can look at this and start building more or less estimates. But like I said, in another 2-3 months, I think it's going to be a little bit of a better picture. So I wish I could give you a little bit more information, but if you do subscribe to the channel, I'll definitely, as soon as the next May visa bulletin comes out, I'll make a video on that, and hopefully there are updates. But I'm thinking 2-3 months we will see the movement, and I really hope that it will be a movement towards the positive, right, towards the resolution, towards catching up and not slowing down. But either way, even if it's slowing down, at least we will be able to make better estimates and say, okay, these cases are taking now longer, so instead of waiting 2 years, we're looking at 3-4 years. All right, at least it's better than not knowing what's going on. And as of right now, for most categories, it's still in the air, because there is this 1.5 year backlog, artificial backlog, that is. All right, let's move on to the next one. Can't read that name, unfortunately, but thank you for being a public subscriber. Hi, brother. My name is... Okay, perfect. So you typed in there, Mikais Sargut. Mikais, I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so that's got to be your native alphabet. Mikais, thank you for being publicly subscribed to... this is what this icon means, to this channel. Okay, so let's read the comments. Hi, brother. My name is Mikais Sargut. Yesterday, you could not read my YouTube name because I wrote it in my country's Ethiopian alphabet. All right, so that's Ethiopian. Nice. Good to know. Anyway, my brother, thank you very much. You're very welcome, Mikais. May God bless you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Your age, your YouTube, and your heart. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for giving me more than enough answers and explanations to my question. I'm glad my answer was helpful. My other question today is, how can I ask NVC to request an expedited interview appointment? And what are the prerequisites, I'm assuming? Since I am in NVC, documentarily qualified. Okay, can I request an expedited interview appointment for NVC or US Embassy? I wish you a blessed day. Thank you very much, Mikais. I appreciate your kind comment, and Thank you for a follow-up question. For everyone who's watching, as many questions as you have, you're welcome to ask them. Just make sure you ask them in a separate comment. Don't respond to my response here, because for whatever reason YouTube does not send me those notifications. I don't see them. Okay, so Mikas, I'm going to try to answer this question right here for you. So whenever it comes to requesting the expedited processing from the NVC, there are a few requirements. Number one requirement is that you have to be documentarily qualified and your immigrant visa has already to be available. It has to be already available. So you're not waiting basically in line for it. Because if it's still not available, unfortunately, there is nothing you can do. You can submit the request for expedited processing, but it's just going to be ignored, or maybe they will respond and say, no, we can't do anything about it. Most likely, because this is one of the main requirements. You have to be documentarily qualified and the immigrant visa has already it has to be already available. All right, so again, we're going to the visa bulletin, looking at the categories and seeing. So if you see that your visa should already be available according to the visa bulletin, then yes, you can definitely submit the expedited request. Now, another requirement is, of course, you have to have a reason for that expedited processing, and there can be a lot of reasons. It really is it's at the discretion of NVC. So if it's a good reason for you, it might not necessarily be a good enough reason for them. So just because you have a good reason, just because you're documentarily qualified, just because you have immigrant visa available, or you think should be available, NVC still can deny your request for expedited processing. So I'm just letting you know, just in case, so that you're not disappointed. But the reasons can be, for example, hardship, some kind of emergency situation. If you remaining in Ethiopia, I'm assuming, if you're typing in Ethiopian alphabet, you're in Ethiopia. If there is some kind of dangerous conditions where you're living, that these are the reasons that are good reasons, for everyone, really, if you think about it, to request that expedited processing. Again, keep in mind that it is at discretion of NVC, so they might say no. And unfortunately, a lot of these expedited requests, they get denied. But some of them, they do get approved. So if you do meet, you are already documentarily qualified, we know that. Your immigrant visa availability, check on the visa bulletin. I'm not sure, I don't remember the dates that you gave me in your previous comment, but if I told you that it should be already available, then yes, you can go ahead and submit the expedited request. I actually have a separate video on how to submit an expedited request. It's very straightforward. All you're doing is you're just sending an email to NVC saying, hey, this is my case number, this is me, this is my name, all my information. The reason why I'm requesting expedited request is because expedited processing is because this and this and this, all the good reasons for them, and then you just wait and see. So hopefully I was able to help you with my response once again, and if you have any follow-up questions, do not hesitate to ask them in a separate comment. All right, let's move on to the next question from Kaukap Sahil. Looks like 2 questions. We applied 13 years before our son's immigration, but still pending its F3 category visa bulletin, not moved from 7 months. Its chargeability area. You have any idea when visa bulletins start moving? Okay, Kaukap, I'm very sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, everyone who is dealing with visa bulletin, they are waiting, and me including too. I completely understand it personally, on the personal level, because I have myself an immigration petition for my brother, and I haven't seen any movement in like a year, more than a year now, with the visa bulletin. And again, if you hopefully you watched the whole video, this whole video, where I was earlier explaining about the artificial backlog that was created with the pandemic, and that in the next couple of months, hopefully, because we are just now starting to see movement on some of the categories, so I am thinking in the next 2-3 months we will see movement on the other categories as well, because finally this artificial backlog, not the real backlog that we had from the visa cap, but the artificial backlog that we had from the pandemic closures and all that sort of stuff, is now finally they're getting to it. So I wish I could give you more information. Unfortunately, at this point I can't. next couple months, if you did not subscribe yet to this channel, please do. In the next couple months, I will be releasing more videos specifically on the visa bulletin, and then comparing the new visa bulletins to the previous ones and talking about the numbers, and hopefully that will help you. But as for the F3 category, you probably already know. If you're aware of the fact that it has not moved for the past 7 months, then you definitely know how to navigate visa bulletin. You're familiar with this number, so I'm not even gonna go into that. You already know pretty much. You're staying on top of this, which is really good. But hopefully in the next couple months we will see some movement, and then we'll be able to make a little bit of better, at least some kind of estimates. Like I said, even if it's bad estimates against our own what we would like to see, but at least we see some movement. It's still better than no movement at all, and things are just in the air and we don't know what is happening. Kaukap's yours. Yesterday I asked questions but no reply. Sorry, Kaukap. I try to work as fast as I can. I'm gonna post this reply here as well. Volume 46. I really try to work as fast as possible. I'm the only person who works on this channel. There's nobody else, and I try to get to every comment as fast as possible. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer, 2, 3, 4 days maybe, but I will still get to all of the comments that I received, regardless, however long it takes me. So I apologize for the delay in response, but please understand, please have patience. I will do my best to get it to as soon as possible. All right, moving further to the next question, comment from Sarosh Patel. F4 visa, F4 category. It's the brothers and sisters of US citizens, and like I said, I am waiting for petition for my brother. It takes forever, unfortunately. So let's see. F4 visa, KA interview. Oh wow, okay, so if anybody can please translate this, please do. I'm not gonna like or heart it, because if I do, it will disappear from my wall. So I'm gonna leave it untouched on my wall. It is posted, this comment is posted on the video Visa Bulletin April 2023. I've posted this video I think about like 4 days ago. If somebody understands it, please, if you don't mind, to give me a little bit of your time, go to this comment and reply to this comment with the translation. I would really appreciate it, and then I would be able to go back to this comment and actually respond to it and address it, if I can read the translation. All right, let's move on to the next one from Naveed Malik. Any idea when F4 final action date movement is expected? Priority date 1st October 2007. Okay, Naveed, hopefully you watched this whole video where I was explaining the artificial backlog and all that sort of stuff. F4 category, brothers, sisters of US citizens. So priority date, you have October 2007. At least let me give you very, very rough estimates as of right now, just because I don't want to, I want to address every single comment that I receive. I don't want to just, brush it off. I didn't start this channel to, do that kind of stuff. I started this channel with good intentions, and I'll keep these good intentions. So we're gonna go to Visa Bulletin. Oh wow, okay, so right now the priority dates as of December 2007. So since you're asking about the final action date movement, I'm assuming you are already documentarily qualified, or you're a beneficiary if you're a petitioner. So since your priority date in 2007, in October 2007, and this is in December 2007. Wow, and you're already documentarily qualified, or you're a beneficiary. You should be hearing from NVC, I would say, anytime now. But again, anytime now, it can be, it can be from 1 month, it can be up to 6 months. It might possibly be up to a year, hopefully not. But again, it will depend in the next couple of months. Hopefully in the next couple of months, we will see the movement on the rest of the categories. And again, the reason why I'm saying that, the reason why I think that we will see the movement on the rest of the categories, is because just now, with the April 2023 Visa Bulletin, we finally saw some changes in F2A category, which was not a good change, because this was showing current and now it's showing 3 years delay, 3 years backlog, which again is not a real backlog. It's not the visa cap backlog. It is an artificial backlog, because on F2A visa category there is no visa cap. So it's not a very nice discovery. It's not a nice discovery at all, not a very nice, it's bad discovery, because now we're showing 3 years instead of showing current. But at least it's an update, so now people who were in the air just waiting and waiting and not knowing what's happening, now they can look at it and have a very rough estimate. And again, it's better to have that kind of like, okay, I have a rough estimate, than just being, you know, in the wilderness, not knowing what's going on. Well, actually, in the wilderness, it's pretty nice to be out in the wilderness, but in the wilderness of these numbers, of the bureaucracy, of the government bureaucracy, that is not a nice view. All right. I think it should be very good, very soon for you. Plus, you're already documentarily qualified, or your beneficiary. So that is it's a huge relief. Once you are documentarily qualified, it's a huge relief, because now you know that you're all done for the most part with all the bureaucratic stuff, and the only thing that is left is just do medical examination and do the interview. Now, once the NVC transfers the case to the US Embassy, and I am thinking that they are just now waiting basically for whatever, when the immigrant visa becomes available. Once they transfer it to the US Embassy, it's just waiting for them to schedule the appointment. That's why I said you still have some time to wait, because usually US Embassy, they schedule 30 days in advance, so that you have 30 days to do the medical examination. So you have the transfer from the NVC to US Embassy, you have US Embassy working with their schedule, and then seeing, okay, we have 2 months ahead, we have an appointment, or 3 months ahead, and then they schedule that appointment, and then when it's before 30 days, they send you that notice of the interview. So that's why you still have a few steps in between. But again, you've done all the waiting, you've been patient all this time, so I really hope it comes very close to finally the completion of your petition. All right, let's move on to the next question or comment from Aman Sandhi. Aman, thank you for being publicly subscribed. Appreciate it. Thanks, sir. Please help me. I'm waiting for a separate video. If I remember correctly, it was a question about, I think you are in F2A category. I think, if I'm correct, spouse of a permanent resident. And yes, I will definitely make a separate video. Probably, I will try to make it today. If not today, I'll definitely make it tomorrow. And basically, I wanted to make a separate video. The reason why I wanted to make a separate video specifically for Visa Bulletin F2A category is, again, because just now, as of April 2023, there is finally some change. Again, it's not a good change, but it is still a change, because if you look at the previous one, and I'm gonna put, instead of April, I'm gonna put March here. And if you're watching this, this is a very easy way to navigate the Visa Bulletin. If you want to go to the previous month and previous years even, you can do that. But just by typing March 2023, as long as you're in 2023. So if you want to go to 2022, you can March 2022 and then change this 2022 as well here. Keep that in mind. But we're March 2023, and as you can see, F2A just in March, and we're still in March 2023. It's showing current, which is completely confusing to everyone who's in F2A category. Why? Because they look at this and they say, wait a second, this shows current, and I have been waiting since 2021. I was already documentarily qualified, and I'm still waiting for my interview to be scheduled, and nothing is scheduled. Why it's showing current makes no sense, and it's been like this for the past however long. But now, finally, going back to April, we see the reason why all these people in F2A category are waiting. It is because there is an artificial backlog, and this is where you clearly see the artificial backlog, because it's not caused by the visa cap. Because on this category, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I really want people to understand, and this is going to be helpful for everyone, whatever category you're in, understanding the difference between an organic, the real backlog that is being caused for a very long time now, for whenever, since the Department of Homeland Security, they came up with this whatever bill, regulation from the Congress, whatever it is. I'm not even going to get into the bureaucracy of all of this. I'm not a fan of this system, and I'm not going to, give it credit. But the fact is, we did have this backlog because of the visa cap, immigrant visa cap. So there's a certain amount of immigrant visas that is issued each year. If there's more applications than there are available visas, you have the backlog that is going to the next year. If the same happens next year, you have more of the backlog that is going to the next year, and so far so forth, and it keeps growing, unless of course there's less applications in a certain year than the petitions. Now they are catching up on the backlog, and it kind of goes like this, up and down, mostly up, but sometimes it goes down. But with the pandemic and everything, with the closures, we had the artificial backlog, and that's what you see in the F2A category. So yes, I will make a separate video. Aman, thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna actually write it down on my document here that I have. In fact, I'll do that right now. F2A visa bulletin, so I don't forget, because I do have a lot of requests for videos, and if anyone has a request for any specific video or form, how to fill it out, let me know, because I put it on my to-do list, and then depending on the demand, depending on how many requests I get, I address it in a certain, obviously, priority to, accommodate as many people as possible. All right, let's move on to the next question, comment from Sharik. Great service, thank you, I'm glad this is helpful. My query is, okay, so this is about EAD. All right, my EAD was approved based on the C1 parole, okay, and my parole ends in July. According to the info sent, my EAD will stop. Yes, correct, July 2, according to the parole. Yes, that is correct. I have already applied for asylum now before the 1-year deadline. I want to apply for another EAD 2 months before it expires. So will I be applying for an initial EAD based on pending asylum or renewal based on pending asylum? Okay, great question. I think it's going to be helpful everyone who's dealing with EAD and who has a pending asylum. So if you already had the EAD, regardless based on which eligibility you had your EAD, you are still asking for the renewal EAD. Only this time, when you're filling out the application for your employment authorization document, renewal of your employment authorization document, in the eligibility criteria, there you will be selecting this, instead of C11, you will be selecting, I believe it's C8 for the pending asylum. The only thing, Sharik, that you need to keep in mind is the EAD asylum clock, all right? It's 150 days. After 150 days of being in a pending asylum status, you can submit the application for your employment authorization document, whether it is the renewal or initial application. In your case, it's going to be renewal, but for everyone else who's watching, if you never had the employment authorization, then it's going to be initial application. But only after 180 days, USCIS can issue you the employment authorization document based on the pending asylum. So it's 150 days to submit the application, and then after 180 days, basically USCIS, they allow 30 days for processing of your applications. They issue you your employment authorization document, because they at the moment, it's not a guarantee, but at the moment their goal is to process these applications within that 30-day mark. So if you check the processing times for the employment authorization document application, you will see that it says that they do it within 30 days, which sounds great. Don't be surprised if it takes a little bit longer. There's a lot of delays on a lot of cases right now. But yes, I think you should be already aware of that EAD clock for the asylum. But just in case, I thought I would mention it. Because I've seen cases where people don't wait, and then they apply, and then they get denied, and then they wonder, why they got denied. But that's one of the reasons why, is because USCIS is very particular. I literally seen a case where a person applied, it was like 148 days or 147, something like this, like few days before that 150-day clock, and they deny the person. It's really sad, but this is just how the bureaucracy is. It's sad. It's really sad. 2-3 days and you deny the application. Poor, just silly. But let's move on to the next question from Ed Shutang 237 food recipe. All right, so comment is on Visa Bulletin, so let's take a look. Priority date October 2015. Documentarily qualified August 2021. Okay, that's good. 6 years difference. So okay, so they waited for closer to the availability of the immigrant visas, which is a good thing. If you see the big difference between the priority date and the documentarily qualified date, it means that either USCIS or NVC waited closer to the availability of the immigrant visa. All right, before transferring the case, obviously, or before, getting you documentarily qualified, which is a good thing. So you're already documentarily qualified since 2021, which means 2 more years in your, basically two years already in your pocket. So the immigrant visa should be available anytime now. It's all really depends on this artificial backlog that we're experiencing. But let's take a look further. Visa category F2B, Abu Dhabi Embassy. Okay, so you're in all chargeability area. Please, when I should expect my interview? Alrighty, let's take a look. Thank you for very, very detailed comment. This stuff really helps. So we're gonna take a look exactly. So we're gonna look at the all chargeability areas, and we will start with the dates for filing here, which is graph B. So F2B, that's going to be unmarried sons and daughters 21 years of age or older of permanent residents. Okay, so if we take a look here, priority dates, we got January 2017, the availability of the immigrant visas. So immigrant visas are becoming available for people as of April 2023, very rough estimate, but supposedly that filed back in January 2017. Now, your petition was filed back in October 2015, so 2 years before what is shown here. So you can clearly see now, all right? It's like you're now starting to see, and it's for everyone who's watching, you're seeing that artificial backlog yet again here in action that I keep referring to, that was caused by the pandemic. Because here you see January 2017, so Shutang, they filed a petition 2 years before that. So they are 2 years overdue. And you can see it in the documentarily qualified in 2021. And again, if we go up here, we'll probably, see September 2015. Absolutely makes no sense. This, between these two, this makes absolutely no sense. So they are not updated, and they haven't been updated, I can tell, for a while now. So if you look at this, this is not going to tell you much. But again, to give you as much information as I can as of right now, on a huge plus, you were already documentarily qualified, or your beneficiary, and you have 2 years already in the pocket. So the immigrant visa, they assumed the availability of the immigrant visa back in 2021. That's why they documentarily qualified you or your beneficiary. And now you're 2 years half in the pocket after being documentarily qualified. So now you're just dealing with this artificial backlog that we had with this whole pandemic. Hopefully in the next couple of months, and again, this is the same promise that I'm making to you, like I made to a few other people today in this video. This is my personal, again, it might not happen, but I think that in the next few months, we will see the movement for everybody else in the visa bulletin. And the reason for that, the reason why I think that, is because we just now saw finally the movement for the F2A category. So I think they will start catching up with everything else and updating the rest of the graph. I really hope so, but again, May visa bulletin, June and possibly July visa bulletin, I think it will have more answers for us. So I would recommend, if you can, subscribe to this channel, and if you have any follow-up questions, do not hesitate. But as of right now, as of April 2023, that's really all I can tell you. All right, let's, I think we got another question from Sharik. Okay, so Sharik's the same question. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll post the response here. You guys don't have, just I'm gonna mention, you don't have to ask me separate, on separate videos, the same question. I'm gonna see it regardless, whichever video you post it on, because I'll look at all of the comments like this on my comments wall. So just make sure you submit a separate comment, because like I said, if you respond to my comment within your comment, for some reason I don't get those notifications. But if it's a separate comment, I do get them on this wall, and I will address them. Sooner or later, I will address them. I appreciate your patience, and I mean, you're not new to patience. I'm not new to patience, because I'm an immigrant myself. I went through the immigration process. It took me a very, very long time. It took me about 11-12 years total. So I'm familiar with what patience is, and I still have to be patient, because there's now my family that, petitioning for. So I completely understand when somebody tells you be patient. It's annoying, but unfortunately we're dealing with the system, and it's just part of it. If you want to play a game, you enter, you play by its rules. That's really all we can do. So thank you very much everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for asking your questions. Without your questions, these videos would not be possible, so I am grateful for sure for these questions. As always, appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.